I'm Lanz Pierce, and this is the Yes, No, Maybe podcast.
Well, we're finally doing this. Lanz Pierce, we are very, very excited to have you.
So excited.
On the couch with us today. Welcome to our office.
It's beautiful. I feel like I'm in like a Wes Anderson film, and
Right?
it's a vibe.
That's what we
I'm happy to
say.
be here.
Thank you. Well, we're very happy to be here too. We're very happy to have you with us.
All the way from New York, so very exciting.
Let's talk a little bit about first impressions, because when I first met you, which was at the wonderful Firehouse.
Uh-oh. The truth comes out.
I think what struck me the most about you was that you have an insane amount of confidence that was very, very contagious, and just, you walked into a room and I noticed. So where does that confidence come from? Is it, you're from Queens in New York? Is it being a New Yorker and growing up in the city? Where does that come from?
I was signed to Interscope Records when I was 16 years old. And as a child performer, I think that you are very much so taught that your first and most powerful tool is your presence. And so, I was very conscious of cultivating that very young, but I also think that there's just like a natural fight that is inside me. When I was younger, the fight was fighting like everything, myself, everyone, anything, and it's just like pure irreverence. I think that as I've gotten older, that fight has transformed into the passion and power that I want to lead with in a room.
Are you an only child?
Yes.
Do you think that has something to do with the confidence and with the fight element?
Yeah, I think one thing that is really, there's a word that I like. It's autonomous. Like, I love the idea.
That's a good word.
Being self-sufficient and a self-starter is one of the most empowering things that you can do. And so when you're an only child, right, you have to play alone. You have to use your imagination. Like, I think about kids today, I feel bad for them. I'm like, oh, you don't get to go outside and just use the leaves to pretend that they're cash, to use the you know what I mean? Like, play store and be like trade. Like, hey, I have rocks, you have leaves. There's just so. But I think that that's what it is. I think, being an only child, you have to know you. You have to get to know you, because otherwise, you're just it's just like you're your best friend.
But did you get competitive? Like, did you just get competitive with yourself then rather than your siblings, or how did that kind of...
Yeah, I think that I definitely have always been a super critic on myself. So competitive with myself is for sure a truth. And I think that there are things that are just like characteristics that are like DNA, like inside you, right? Like I for sure, I'm a Scorpio Sag. Like, I feel like I feel like I just kind of have that too, but I'm also, a rap artist, not to get ahead, but in a completely male dominated universe. Imagine being a 15-year-old high school dropout and going underage to nightclubs in New York City and feeling like you were going to either be like prey, or you were the aggressor. So I think very much so that wall and that power kind of came up.
Okay, I wanna dig into all of that.
Yeah.
There's so much there. I would be terrified, to put it, bluntly. I mean, I've had my fair share of life, up and downs and trying to figure things out. But for me, if I was underage and going into nightclubs and having to come up against all kinds of things, I would be terrified. So where did that the guts come from to be able to do that? Because that's not normal in the best way.
I I'm still learning myself. So I don't know that I have all those answers, but it was just very much so something that I was incredibly driven and single-minded about. Um, I was raised by a single mom, and I think that like early on was very conscious of struggle and having versus not having, and wanted to play a proactive role in the having part. And so, um, I heard hip hop, I heard rap, and at that moment, I felt like, whoa, like this energy is just like grab you by the throat and like take no prisoner vibes, right? And I was just like, oh, okay, cool. That like resonated. That feels like what I want to do. And so then when you realize that like you're good at something, like just naturally, and you get attention, you're like, oh, okay, ooh, this is cool. Like, what's that? And so I think that like I started rapping in school. I got a lot of attention for it, and then I just like, yeah, I went for it. I like that was what you did back then. You went to, there was no MySpace, there was no SoundCloud, there was no like, you had to perform. So it was just like that was what you did, So that was it. That was the key. The key was like get up on stage and like be fearless. And
did you ever experience any negative audiences or anything that kind of made you how did you navigate that if you ever came up against that?
I got booed off the Apollo.
Oh, wow.
I got booed off the Apollo, like with one of the biggest entertainment attorneys there to watch me. Like it was like pre-signed to Interscope, and it was like what you would do back then is like you would build a buzz, and then at the time I had a manager, and you would invite people to come see shows, right? And this was like a big deal. It was like the Apollo. Yeah. I remember the track started, the music just started, no lyrics, and I walked down on stage, and just me walking out on stage, just boo. Not even, I didn't get to rap one word, just booed off the stage.
Why?
Harlem, white girl.
Oh man.
What? Like, get out, go, bye. And I remember like, and then there's others, but yeah, so to answer your question, you just like take it on the chin and you keep going. I mean, it's hard at first, like especially as a kid.
Did it give you fuel to be like, well, fuck you, I'm going to show you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it also is just like as a person, as separate from like anything music or career related, I think it's also given me like a just I don't fear rejection. Yeah.
Well, that's a pretty special place to be, because I think that's one of the number one things that holds back a lot of people is the fear of no, the fear of you're not good enough, or you can't do it, or you're just not right, So to have that, I mean, that's fearless.
Like I still fear it. I still like experience it. I just like use it as a catalyst, I guess, to just, like continue forward, right? And so the no doesn't have to mean never. Sometimes it means rejection is protection. Sometimes rejection is redirection. Sometimes no means because something better is coming. And so you just have to like, again, autonomous. You have to like, who's going to soothe you when you're, like, I don't know why we're doing like a psychology session, but like self-soothe.
We love it.
Self-soothe, right, is the number one thing that only children learn, to self-soothe, Yeah.
Did you have any strong mentors during that time that kind of gave you that support as well?
Yeah. Nile Rodgers was my first mentor. I mean, I had the blessing of going to his Connecticut home, and he called it the Madonna Room. It's where he wrote like a lot of the stuff with Madonna when she was a girl.
Wow.
And he taught me a lot about songwriting. And I've had some other great mentors. Yeah.
When did you start writing? Was it something that you did as a youngster, or did that develop with Niall? Or?
Poetry. That's what started
Ah,
poetry. Yeah. Just
poetry.
like a little poet walking around, like writing love poems. A little romantic. That was me always from the start. It was like, oh, the sun, the stars, whatever.
So is it always love that's driven your artistry, your music? Or is it pain, or is it the struggle, or what is it?
It's definitely that combo, though. You know, it's a
Yeah.
combo. Yeah.
Mm.
What's it like when you're when you're on stage and you're singing the songs that you've taken the time and put the energy into creating, and being up there and seeing people react to your music and your sound and the way that you are, it's your art. So what is that like?
Specifically me, just because of like the look and then the sound is so polarizing. I think my favorite thing has always been to get up in front of a crowd, especially like when you're completely new and nobody knows you. There's this like, you know, feeling that you get from the room at first where it's like, who's that? You know, or it's like, are they going to be any good? Right. And like, you know, I actually just like have fun with that now. And I'm just like, okay, like, let's see how it's like being charming. It's like, okay, like, let's see how fast I can like turn this. So I think for me, I love like the beginning. It's like a story. It's like, I love the beginning. And then I love by the end, like watching people vibe out, you know, I think that's like the most fun. Yeah.
There's a game that Craig and I like to play. It's like guess what the musician looks like, because often people don't look like what they sound like.
Yeah.
And that's quite a fun thing to do. You often are so surprised. People just don't necessarily look like how their voices sound, you know?
Yeah.
Which is always a fun thing. So I can imagine. So you worked with Snoop Dogg for a long time. Tell us about that, and can you tell us about any wild stories or things that happened along the way?
Yeah, for sure. So I went on tour with Snoop. I actually never collaborated with him, but I did tour with him for him as his opener for 27 cities.
How old were you when you were touring with Snoop?
17.
Wow.
17, yeah. You know, I have so many. I mean, I remember like my first groupie experience.
Tell us. We love a groupie story.
Yes.
Well, they were my groupies, actually.
Oh, even better.
You know, things that, you know, like child stars or like young people experience that, well, you hear about it or you think about like what's the exposure, and then when you experience it firsthand, you're like, oh, this really does happen. I just was like performing. I forget what city we were in. I got off the stage and there was a group of people that would always wait anyway by the like, you know, backstage area. Of course, they were really there for like Snoop, but I came off the stage and I was, you know, taking a few photos, and I heard a girl say, I wonder if she like, you know, I wonder if she'd be down or something like that. And I was like, and my manager at the time was very protective over me because I was, you know, underage and I was a kid. And so like somehow like I went over to start connecting like and vibing with them, and the girl was like very aggressive, and she was like, yo, like, will you take me backstage, like what's up, like. And I remember my manager came and snatched me up. He's like, let's go. He's like, let's go. And I was like, oh. And then,
You're like,
you know,
dang.
I was just like, oh, that's got it. Like that, like, you know,
That's a thing.
that was a thing, right? And then like that started like kind of like happening, you know what I mean? Like that would happen on the road. So that's a story for you.
What does that do for your ego?
Yeah, I mean, I think like, you know, growing up in any kind of space in show business, you have to like check that ego, because that will be.
But also to be surrounded by all that temptation and to still kind of stay focused and not get led astray. How was that? I mean,
I was always like very thoughtful about, I don't know, like just I didn't want to like fuck around in the industry. I also just didn't find it attractive. I was just like, I'm a musician. I know how the fuck I am. Like, I know what I do. I'm like, I'm not fucking with any of you musicians, because I like know how I am. Like, you know, especially when you're young and like you're not attached and you've never like really been in love and you don't understand like the consequences. You're just like, you know, you want to just like play, you know? So, yeah, I don't know. I never fucked around in the industry. I just was like very secret, like sniper about it.
Was there any highlights of that tour with Snoop that kind of stand out to you?
Well, back to one funny story though is that you would do as like before your set started with your own music, you would do some stuff to like warm up the crowd. So you would use songs that, because you have a catalog people don't know. And so I love Tupac. And so I was like, there was a Hail Mary. Do you know that song, Hail Mary? It's like, come with me, Hail Mary, run quick, see. Look what we have here now. Anyway, so I was
Let's go.
doing that. Okay. I was doing that. And Snoop, I got off set, whatever. And then I would watch Snoop show. And then I was like, oh, Snoop does that. Like I built that part of my set. And after the first or second show, his manager came to my manager and was like, you can't do that song. Like, like you can't use that song. Like Snoop, like that was like Pac was Snoop's homie. And like, he's doing that song. Pick a different song.
Yeah.
I was like, got it. Like noted. Like heard you. I don't know. That one stood out to me. There's a lot though. It was a crazy tour. It was definitely, it was crazy. Yeah. I would make like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on the tour bus for Daz and Corrupt and like, sit with them. They were like, hot box the back seat. I was just like just the contact was like,
And you're just going along with this and finding your way and figuring it out as you go. It's because, I mean, you're so young. It's how do you don't, at 17, you don't know anything. Not really.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just say, like, yeah, you're not, there's no parent. Like you're not on.
I was going to say, what did your mum feel like? You're going on tour buses with all these men on, around all these cities.
I don't know. It's a weird time, It's just what happened. I mean, I also think, listen, like when you're making money, it's hard for any parent or anybody to be like, have any kind of resistance. Say if you're bringing the bank home, bringing the, so that was really cool. That was definitely something that like felt great. I remember, actually, I have a really good story. It's a sweet story. I remember I sat my mom down, told her to close her eyes and open her hands, and I put like a $15,000 check in her hand, and she like looked at it, and I that was really cool. I remember that moment. That was a good one.
Oh, that's cool. That's that's special. Something I've also always got in my mind. I've always wanted to do. The day is still to come, but it will, where you can be like, got you the house on the beach.
Yeah.
Now you're not just a musician. I know that you're writing a film. Do you want to talk about this? Something you both have in common?
Yes, let's talk.
Yeah.
Or is this top secret, or can we discuss?
No, there's no secrets. I'm an open book. You just like get as many questions in as you can.
Yeah.
So I'm writing a film called Play Well. And the word, like the name Play Well, is actually because Legos, like, is a Dutch word. Like legat is a Dutch word, and it means to play well. And it's a story of two people who meet at different times in their life, and they both have like a need, and essentially use each other with the intention of love, but there is definitely like a need. There's one character who is 10 years older and has like lost themselves and uses the younger one as kind of like the muse. And the younger one is a rock star, but like living out of her car, like, and doesn't have home or stability. And so needs that kind of like, that stability. And so they find each other and, they fall in love, but they don't fall in love because though they're two women, and one is very much so kind of like figuring out where and her journey. And I think also like uses the sexual piece to keep the younger one, like uses the sex to keep the young one there. And the young one like actually is in love, right? And so the story is that they would like lay in bed and hold each other. And so the older one said like, you know what we are? She was like, we're like Legos. Because like, they were like, and the idea is like, whatever happens, if you meet your Lego, even for like 1 second in time, and you connect, like, lucky you've like touched a piece of the magic of like the world. Like, so, and then it breaks all apart. It's fucking great.
What is it?
They find a new Lego.
Are you
Play
looking,
well.
Are you looking to star in it yourself, or are you going to get actors?
I probably will get actors. I think like I think that like it's also loosely based on my life. And I think even if sometimes
Right, what
when,
you know.
yeah, but sometimes when I read it, I actually like get confronted. I'm like, especially like the like living out of the car stuff and like I remember that time. That shit sucked, you know? And so I feel like a real actor immerses themselves so much that like I worry that like if I were to really live and eat and sleep and breathe that again, would I like manifest to myself some kind of like frequency
Or
that
like going back.
yeah, like I
Putting
don't
yourself
know.
back there.
Yeah, like I don't know.
Mm.
You know?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
It would be an interesting experiment.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
know?
But then I'm like, who's gonna play like me better?
Yeah. No, exactly. Would you do that in terms of acting and
Yeah.
and you know, putting yourself out there in a different way?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
I've like acted in music video stuff.
Yeah.
So like I for sure can go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You spoke a little bit about manifesting and that, and I know this is a big part of your life, and
Yeah.
you meditate and all of that, and I'm intrigued as to the mindset. You know, we're all artists on this couch, and we all have different mindsets in the way that we go about it. You know, I'm an actor, writer, and now we're doing this pod, and I am constantly trying to overcome my own mind and my own thoughts and my own limiting beliefs, because there are a lot of them. And I think as artists in particular, we have that. So tell us a little bit about how you, I don't know, silence those negative limiting beliefs, and how does manifesting and that part play into your artistry?
Wow, that's like a very deep, amazing question. So the first thing that comes to me that I want to like answer with is that I try on the negative side, and those kind of like limiting beliefs and those thoughts. I try to like think about it like, for instance, let's take anxiety. I try to think about it when I feel that like I am not anxious, but rather that I am experiencing a symptom, right? So like for instance, like you have a stomach ache, right? You can say like the stomach ache is not me. I'm not unwell. I'm not going to be like, it's a symptom of something, right? And just to be able to like separate that also helps me to have the ability to like to control it, right? So that it doesn't like overtake me, right? I just like, so that's like the observer and the observed, right? So that's one thing. Like I observe myself. I'm like, okay, you're experiencing this, like understand that it's like passing, or it is, you know, because the second is, you know, it's, you have to be kind to yourself. Yeah. Like we really forget to do that, you know? So I think you have to like practice that, and you have to find a few things at least that you really do love about yourself, and like hold on to those steadfast, you know, and also like surround yourself with good people. Like relationships
that's
are
a big
everything,
one.
you know, relationships are everything. Like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how beautiful you are, how, you know, successful or how rich, whatever, you know, your equilibrium and your nervous system is nourished by like having love and positivity around you, right? That's why it's like you have to be like, you are what you eat, you are who you surround yourself with, you know, you are who you love, all those things, you know? So I think that would be that. And maybe the last one would be like the manifesting. How do I manifest? I think like you have to set a clear intention, right? And then you have to keep looking for evidence in everything you do of that manifestation. Don't just look for the end result.
Are you meaning like little signs along the way? Is that what you mean?
Like for instance, you are trying to manifest being the most successful artist, like writer, star, whatever. Look for little signs along the way, just like synchronicities. Like, you know, you're thinking of somebody and they call you. You know, you wanted to like write a concept about something, and all of a sudden somebody hands you a book. Like it's basically just like the universe showing you like you're on the right path. You're on the guided
like
path.
a little thumbs up every
yeah.
I think that you're more in tune than a lot of people that I've met. I think that you do have some sort of psychic ability. Do you have any sort of stories? Are you interested in that? Do you believe in that? I know that you've had some experiences.
Oh, here we go.
Kendal. Dragging you back in, Kendal. Do you have any stories or any, you know, serendipitous moments that have happened to you?
I definitely believe in that. I definitely think that we all actually have that. I just think it's like how in tune you are, how much you shut it out, and how much you.
Is that because of your meditation? Do you think you're more in tune, or?
Maybe. Yeah, I think that helps for sure. I think it's also just like I think about myself as like this gonna sound so weird, but like a channel, like we all are, by the way. So, and like I ask for that kind of download, you have to ask for it, like from whatever that comes from like the higher self, from consciousness, from, so, A, I ask for it so I can like receive it, and B, yeah, I mean, I've gone to psychics and I've gone to clairvoyants and I've gone to interesting people. I will say that it's blown my mind a few times when I've like walked in, I've said absolutely nothing, and they'll say something like, I feel, the energy of said person, and they will describe the person. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not just like, oh, there's a woman or a man or somebody who you work with, or it's like, they're like giving you like,
No, it's like personal.
yeah.
And
Or
things
like
people
when
don't
she
know.
said this, or when
Yeah.
you did this,
You're
or
like-
like, the reason this happens is because this is what's actually happened. You're like, okay, clock that, got that.
It is pretty wild when you go to someone like that and they can tell you details about people, and then it makes you just believe a little bit more, It's like, okay, maybe there is something in this, because how the hell does this person know this fact? No one else knows this.
Yeah, they like
except for
tap
me.
in.
But do you use that information for your next steps? Does that inspire you, or do you just kind of, you just find it interesting?
I don't know. I think I'm still trying to figure that out. Like, I think there's a fine line between someone giving you something like that. I don't know, you'll have 2 job offers in the next month. Okay, cool. And then you really holding on to that in a way that, okay, in 2 months, next month I'm going to have 2 job offers, and that then determines how you go about your life. I think there's a fine line between taking it with a pinch of salt and then applying it like wholeheartedly to what you do. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So you kind of have to find the in between, and take what you need and run with it, but remaining open. I mean, for me, my biggest thing this year is to just be open to what comes, because I've spent so long trying to really control things in my life. And, this year we've learned that doing that, we don't have control over things. It's completely out of our control. So be open. And I think in that regard, be open, Take what you want, take what fuels you, take what excites you, and run with it in that way.
Yes, that all sounds like amazing, like just like music to my ears. Yeah, I would add like one last thing too is they like, it's not gospel, it's not fact. It's they're tapping into possibilities, right? Like the thing is that like there's all these possibilities in your life. I don't really believe that there's one finite destiny, right? I do think that like you're a co-creator with, there's the things you can't control. Wait, I used to have an ex-girlfriend. She used to say to me, the things that you know, wait, hold on, damn hammer. She used to say the things you know, the things that you know you don't know, and the things that you don't know that you don't know. The things that you know, the things that you don't know, and the things that you don't know that you don't know. That's like so wild. And then there's probably like another one, which is as the things that you don't even know you don't know. It's like also like there's that fuck. Nobody has done any mushrooms this morning.
No, surprisingly, this would be the perfect spot.
It would actually. It is the
Do you believe that creativity is kind of plucked from the ether, or do you think it stems from experience, or kind of a combination of the two?
Yeah, I think it's a combination. I think it's like, for sure, there's like, you have your natural talent. Like you are naturally gifted. And
so do you believe you're born with that, or it's learned?
Yeah, I do think that you're born with that. I think that you can like grow it,
Wow.
you know, like work on your craft for sure. But I do think that we're born with like certain aptitudes. Like there's things that we're just good at, and like they come from something, like some other place, and you have it, you know. But listen, like experience is the best inspiration. You know, that's like why, like when you like listen to music like Amy Winehouse, or you know, you like listen to Johnny Cash, or you listen to like all these artists that are like, there's just so much in their voice. There's just like you know they've lived that. You know, the same artist can say those same lines and you don't feel it, but they like, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you are naturally gifted as a musician. You want to hear me sing? I do not think so.
You can
Oh
sing.
no! Trust me, I try, and I am terrible. So yes, that's factual that you were born with a gift.
Definitely.
Likewise.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Definitely.
So tell us about Luminary.
Yeah, Luminary is my current focus and endeavor. It's a branding incubator. So essentially, I develop IP, intellectual property, in companies, whether it's like music, tech, and like for instance, like the competitor to Spotify that's like on Web3, or you know, a new ticket marketplace that you can actually go and instead of like swiping left or right to meet somebody for just like a drink, the idea is that like you go on and you meet and match with the same ticket price in mind, and essentially the idea to go to share a game and meet somebody new or something. So like developing, we call them unicorn companies. That's what we hope them to be, you know. And then I bring the venture capital, which is essentially where the money comes, to allow these businesses to scale. So I get involved on the creative side, on the actual IP building, the visual identity, and the website, and all that stuff. And then once they're ready, I bring the venture capital, take a bit of equity, and then essentially launch them into the world.
Wow, you are quite the powerhouse of a woman.
Thanks.
Where did you learn this? You know, you were born creative. Were you born with that business mindset, or did that come, or did you have someone that helped?
I still listen to my mom on the phone. She was just like, yeah, John, I told you I would like that deal on my desk on Wednesday. No, you know, and like, just like she was in a zone, and I was just like, what? And I was just like, okay, well, that's cool, you know? And my mom would also be like, my mom also taught me like really like no is like just not a real answer. Like it's just like don't accept it. Like it's just like actually not real. It's like doesn't exist, right? So it's like so like my mom would be, when I was young, my mom would like be like, well, we're gonna go to this restaurant, and we would call up in the restaurant and be like, oh, there's no availability. She would find a way.
She's like, no, I'm not gonna
She
take
would
that.
be like, I think she's like would just like out tire the human on the phone. She would just be like, well, what about if we only come for like an hour? And he's like, no, the tables need to. Yeah, but you know, also I read in the magazine that you have a extra. Then like just ask these, and then the guy was finally just like, all right, lady, like
she's persistent enough that they just say fine. Have it. Come.
Definitely developed that trait of your mother's.
Yeah, for sure.
Going out with you in New York's definitely an experience. I mean,
Did you have fun?
I had the best time.
Where did we go?
We went everywhere. I had the best burger of my life at Fort Charles.
Okay.
We need to go.
Yeah, I don't know New York at all. I
You
went
need to
once
experience...
for a big meeting, and that was it. But I don't. I mean, I was meant to contact you, and I didn't. I would have probably had the best week.
It's all good. Everything, you know, in its right time. You know, we're gonna do it.
Yeah,
we're gonna do it.
Is New York home to you?
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
Forever?
Forever is a long time. Forever is a very long time. I will always have some kind of like boots on the ground roots in New York for sure. Whether that's, you know, I have an apartment that I, you know, sublet, but like I have it, or that like I have a team of people that, you know, are based there. Like my family's there. I'll always have that. But I would live in Europe.
Do you call London home?
I've been here for 13 years, and I don't know if I'd call London home. I don't know.
Scotland home?
Scotland's like the motherland to me. But then I was born in the States, and I'm very drawn to America. I spent a lot of time there growing up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I found my home. I think the people in my life are my home. you know? That's my home rather than a destination, if that makes sense.
Oh, it makes complete sense.
Like if I was going to New York, like you're family to me. So when I was with you in New York, I felt like I was home. When I'm with you and Craig, I feel like I'm home, if that makes sense.
Oh, it makes complete sense.
Which is why I love that you are our first guest on this pod, because it's special.
It is special.
You know, and you're...
Can we also just plug that our wonderful logo and all of this is
Luminary.
done by Luminary.
I'm so happy. It's like, it's a beautiful thing to see it come to life. I'm the first guest, but you guys are gonna this is gonna blow up, and then we're gonna do a part 2 of this, and you're gonna have all these other things. You're gonna give me rapid fire questions. You're gonna
we've got some.
you're gonna do.
But wait, there's more.
No, I think this is one of the coolest things that I've done, actually. You know, I work on consumer tech and amazing things like that, but this is cool. I loved doing this.
Are you a perfectionist?
Yeah.
In your art, in relationships, in life?
No, relationships and sex are messy, and they're best like that. It's more fun.
Ooh,
yeah.
Let's deep dive into that.
Spicy.
Yeah.
Why? Messy in what way?
Well, people have their own context and baggage and backgrounds and being, and you meet people where they are, you can't perfect people, you can't try to change people, and then you put these two entities together and there's this explosion, right? And that explosion is it's layered and has it has sauce to it, stuff to it, it's just pour that shit on, fucking let's go,
Okay.
But also when they're so perfect, I just feel it's boring, when they're perfectly tidied up. It's it also is what do you want in a partner? Do you want somebody who checks a box for you, and then therefore you're okay, I've compartmentalized, this human does this, great, I'm going to the dentist for this, or do you want somebody who challenges you and makes your life better, and that you cross bridges with, and it's who do you really want to spend your time with, and there's all the facets that are in there. And so sometimes it's messy, sometimes people hurt each other, sometimes sometimes people I just think that and I think that people that walk away when it's not perfectly put together, just they want to be in a relationship with themselves. They don't want to be with somebody,
It doesn't exist anyway. So that perfect dynamic doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So you're going to be reaching for something that you'll never be able to get. So
yeah. And I mean, and then literally, if we're just going to go there for a second, think about the act of being with somebody intimately, it's not choreographed, it's messy and beautiful and vulnerable and all of those things, so it's just that's when life is best.
Well, on that note,
cool,
we have some
of those quick fire questions,
some yes no maybe questions. So we love our little cards, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Have you ever walked into a room, felt the vibe was off, and immediately left without saying a word?
Yeah, I do that on the street also every day when I feel an energy coming to me. I'm okay, I'm gonna cross the street.
Yeah.
Is that a protection thing, or?
I am I think I also have weird superstitious stuff where I'm energy. I really do feel energy is contagious type of thing, like a cough. And so I'm just I just don't want to have to filter that out of my system. So I'm just not going to interface with it.
I do that quite often on the tube, actually.
What, you move?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Because I'll just get on, and if I just sense something, it instantly makes me feel uncomfortable, I will move.
Yeah.
I'll walk further down, or I'll get off at the next stop and I'll move into another thing. I do that quite often.
Yeah.
Because there's so many different people in that space, and it's such a tiny space that you are, I don't know, I just sometimes pick up on stuff very heavily. And I also agree, I think energy is contagious. There is something, and I feel like this is going to become a thing. I'm going to try say quotes on all our podcasts and then butcher all of them, because I can't remember any of them, but I listened to a podcast once about, they were saying how people can get sick and stuff through other people's sweat because it's contagious. So if sweat is contagious and the way the pheromones and things that your body gives off is contagious, then energy must be.
Of course.
You
That's
know?
like, yeah.
But you were telling me about when you sleep next to someone, when you dream, I'm going to butcher this, but your energy or it intertwines, right?
Yeah. I mean, they did like a study recently where they were actually able to see the like co-entanglement between two people sleeping next to each other, and that they're like their dreams like somehow like I mean I'm you got to read about the study, but
That's interesting.
I also think that like being able to sleep next to somebody peacefully is like a whole other thing, because it's just like then that's like you like that's your energy like telling you that, you know. I actually don't sleep well next to a lot of people at all. It's like not my thing. I just like
Yeah, I get quite a bit of, which has only developed in the last few years. I get quite a bit of sleep anxiety because I struggle to sleep. I'm a very light sleeper. So if I'm in a new space, I often struggle. If we go to a hotel for the first night or whatever, I struggle. But if I was to go away with my best friend or, you know, and share a bed with that person, even my family, you know, I tend to be awake all night because I'm like
same. Like I can't share beds with best friends or like family or like
I need my space.
Yeah.
I need my room. I need to be able to sleep how I sleep because there's a lot, you know. But I think that's really interesting, and I'm gonna do a deep dive into that. Yeah, dreams are amazing. Have you ever taken the mic when you weren't technically invited and turned it into a moment?
Can you answer that question?
Do you know what? Yes, I can. When we first started getting to know each other, and after I met you at work, through work and things like that, I took you to a show that my friend was singing, and it was just a show in London with a full live band, and they were inviting people up onto the stage, and you were like, you should go and sing, and I was like, hell no. And then you were like, I'm going up there, and you got up there and you rapped, and I remember you were singing about specific topic, and there were these two girls in the front row, and they came over after you performed, and they were like, God, you really spoke to us. It was insane.
Cool.
And the fact that you just got up there and you just did it and you killed it.
Thank you. I remember that slightly different, where I was like where I was like I said like I want to be up there, or like I should be up there, or like that's dope or something like that. And you were like, go up there. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna go up there. And you were like, do it. And I was like, you're like, I dare you. And me being like, oh, she dared me.
Oh, is that the thing?
I'm like, oh, well, I'm not gonna show her that like I can't do it. And I literally pushed my way through the crowd. And I remember people were like, excuse me, like rude or whatever. And I was like, no, I'm with the band. Like,
I'm about to perform.
yeah, no,
Give me a break.
I actually literally said that. I was like, no, I'm going on stage.
Yeah. They're like,
Oh, okay. And then I got to the front of the stage, and whoever was on stage, I was like, I kept being like, get the mic. And he was probably like, who the f- are you? Fucking what? Like, let somebody come to one of my sets and be like, can I have your mic? I'd be like, no, bro, like kick rocks. Like, but yeah. And then I got on stage, and like, he was like, what do you want to do? I was like, I don't know, play music. I just rapped.
and what was it one of your songs, or were you just
freestyle.
Freestyle. Yeah.
Yeah. It was really crazy.
Well, that's very impressive.
Yeah.
Have you ever written a verse based on someone you locked eyes with for 5 seconds and never saw again?
A poem. Yeah. Not a verse, a poem. I actually have that poem.
Do you remember it?
I don't remember the poem, but I remember that I was in the Polo store here in London, and I saw somebody that literally like I saw like a life and a universe with in like 2 seconds by like looking in their eyes.
Wow.
And then like their person walked up, and I was like, okay. And then I was just like really like captivated by this. And I was like, I went like and wrote this poem about this person I didn't even know. It sounds
That's
great.
like didn't Lionel Richie write Hello? Or was that Adele? Did I just sing Adele?
That was
It was
Adele.
Adele,
Okay.
yeah. I also think that was like a breakup song where she's like, we haven't spoken a long time.
No. Lionel Richie wrote. Wait, what is it? How is it?
Stranger?
No, you know he does the hello. Lionel Richie has a song.
Is it me you're looking for?
It's me.
I can see it in your eyes.
Right.
He wrote that in a waiting room in a hospital.
Yeah.
Someone walked in and he wrote that.
No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So, there's a fun fact for y'all.
Music education.
Have you ever convinced yourself a random sign from the universe was definitely for you?
Yeah. I do this like every day.
Yeah, great.
Anything happened today?
No, I had a night last night and I just was like, they fucking made this at 9 a.m.
How dare they?
You're
This is what happens when you're trying to cram a few things in
kidding.
a few
You're kidding.
hours. Okay, I think we've got one more.
Yeah. Have you ever been mistaken for someone else and played along just for the thrill?
Wow. We've definitely done some role playing. I don't know if that was what you were asking, but let's go with yeah. I'm always down for a little fun adventure. So I've definitely like been out with somebody before and we together were like, let's tell this story. Like there was one time I was out with a girl who was like, we were like meeting a bunch of people and she was like, they were like, how did you guys meet? And she did it on the fly. Actually, like this. And she was like, oh, well, it's pretty much a crazy story. And I was just sitting on the edge of my seat as it was happening. She was like, well, my wallet got stolen. And I was like walking around the park and Lon saw me and she was like, hey, are you okay? And like this whole story unfolded that we ended up finding the person. I chased after the person. I like accosted
You're the hero of the day.
I promise you that this group of guys believed where they were like, whoa, like, but how did you know it was him? Like, and what happened? I was just like, I was just on the edge of my seat. So yeah, I think I've done it. Played along.
That's quite fun.
I think it's so much fun. Like,
I mean, we were doing that at work a lot. Like people just thought we were the same person and we were related and we were just like, yeah, we're sisters. Yeah.
yeah. If someone said, hey,
Different
Anna,
dads.
I'd be like, hey, how's it going? Because it got to a point of, it was just all the time. So I'd just be like, yeah, nice to see you, bro.
Sometimes it's fun to tell people the stories they want to hear. You just like look in them, they're in their eyes, and you're like, you want to hear this. Let me give you this.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I also think there's something like for me really exciting about traveling because it's like you get to be a different person. I feel like in different cities.
Yeah.
It's like I think that's probably why I seek adventure and travel as much as I do because I leave myself behind for a little bit, and I can be whoever I want in this new space. And there's something kind of thrilling and exciting about that.
Is there anywhere that you haven't been yet that you'd love to go?
I mean, so many places. I'd really love to go to India. There's so many places. I'd love to see far more of America. I'd love to do Thailand and Peru and there's just so many places.
You would thrive in Thailand.
I would thrive in Thailand?
Yeah.
Why?
Because Thailand is like, it has all of the like spiritual vibes, but it also is just this like very like relaxed kind of like free flowing space, right? Where there's like, the food is amazing. It's like very, I don't know. I just like the energy there is special. It feels like it would be in tune for you.
Okay.
Well, you loved Bali, so
We fell in love with Bali.
Bali's cool.
Bali was magical. The people there are just so special,
Yeah. I ended up in Bali from being at a music festival in Thailand and meeting two guys because I was like, hey, do you have a cigarette? And they were like,
that's how it all started.
Legit. They were like, yeah, like whatever. I don't even smoke, but I was just like, oh, like this is fun, like for the moment. And so they ended up being like, so what are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm like traveling alone. They're like, what? And I was like, yeah, I'm in like Thailand, like hopping around. And they're like, oh, you should come to Bali. And I was like, don't try to kill me though. And they were like, I won't do that. And I was like, okay, good. And then we we got that out of the way. And then I booked a flight to Bali.
Do you still speak to them?
Yeah.
Wow.
I do. They were two dope French guys. And like, I mean, I just like they, the motorbikes that you ride around. Yeah. Just
Yeah,
like
the
hopped
little
on their
scooters. Yeah.
bikes and like went all around. And it was like amazing.
You see, but being such an intuitive person, had it not felt right, you probably would have known.
I would have known.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have known.
So that was a decision.
I'm also like always just like, like you don't want to see that side of me. So I'll just
What, you're up for anything?
I mean, I never want to call that into my space. I just like, I don't know. I just like would, I would
yes
be
man.
okay. I'd be okay.
Okay.
Do you always say yes?
No.
Maybe. Hey.
I say no a lot, actually. Just,
It didn't land.
It landed. I stared, but I didn't react.
That's a good question. I really think you should ask that to everybody.
What's that?
And you should always like have that boom boom moment where it's like, do you always say no or yes?
Yeah.
Maybe. And then that
And then
person's
maybe.
gonna say the opposite answer. And then you're like, maybe.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool. Well, this has been epic and wonderful and amazing, and you are just such a joy of a human being, and we have absolutely loved getting to know you today. But since we met you, you've definitely been a light in this one's life, and
Absolutely.
I'm excited to see where our wonderful friendship
And
goes.
everyone needs to listen to her new music because it is dope.
Where can we just, let's do a little plug. Where
Yeah.
can we listen to all your music and everything?
Everywhere. Like use the internet and put my name in.
Do a
Is
deep
that
dive.
Apple and Spotify and Google. They all work. Yeah. I mean, I have like the current stuff that's out and I'm excited about that. And then I also have like 3 albums worth of music that's out from before. And I have even a song from my Interscope days that was called Swerve, which features 3-6 Mafia, Juicy J and those guys. And like that's there. So like there's a discography.
It's cool to see the journey and listen to how you've developed as an artist and how you're developing.
Thanks.
Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Come back.
Cool.
Please.
All right, I will.